Probably more
Okay,
interesting.
we're
2 hours
going.
from now.
Welcome to the Utah Senate Press Availability and Legislative Update. This is our last week. We're be working on Senate bills today. I don't think we'll be too late tonight because there's not a lot of other Senate bills to be addressed. But tomorrow and the next day, it'll be House bill time and budget bill time. We did recognize Senator Jones's family on the floor today. It was great to have them with us. They're here in kind of a nostalgic way, as this is the last session for Senator Jones, and we'll miss her greatly. We appreciate her family being here. Any other things out there on the floor? We're just working through Senate bills. We'll open it up for questions.
Obviously, budget is top of mind. Are you going to have a budget, you think? Are you going to be able to reach a compromise?
Yes, we've worked with the House over the weekend, and I think we've got an agreement with the House. We haven't finalized that yet. We've got to take that to caucus. The governor is weighing in on some of those items, but I think by this afternoon we'll have an agreement on 95% of the budget.
Probably 98.
Yeah. Okay.
Does it include money for the speaker's iPad in every hand proposal?
Well, we're just not prepared to talk about that till we get through our caucuses and have the governor give his input to the budget, so that nothing's final until, well, the bill is passed, but it'll be pretty much final once we get through caucuses. Then we can discuss the details.
Are you expecting to hold executive appropriations this afternoon?
I think we have it on the agenda. Rick, don't we have it on the
It's at
agenda?
5 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, yeah, we will.
So you're not planning on canceling, I guess? is
Unless
one
something
question.
blows up in caucuses. And I haven't dealt with Senator Maine yet. She may not
right.
approve the budget.
Correct. I want all my stuff.
We're in trouble then.
I know.
Any other questions?
You passed
Yes.
the partial Medicaid expansion bill with some flexibility for the governor to
Get Senator
negotiate
Shizawa in here today, so.
with
anyway.
Washington. How do you expect that to go in the House? Has that been part of the budget discussions at all?
No, there's no budget issues with that at this point, so it hasn't been part of the budget discussion. My guess is that the House would be split on the bill. I just don't know where the split lands, that being supportive or not being supportive, and we'll know more about that, I'm sure, here in the next day or so.
What are your feelings on it? On what eventually passed out of the Senate? If she's on this plan.
Well, we obviously, as a Senate, we're missing a few people on the floor. I think it would have been about 20 votes. I think it was 19, but with a couple that were off, we might even had 21 votes on the bill. As you can see, we support it. And we support the governor going back to do the best he can. Negotiate with the federal government and see what he can come up with, and come back and talk to us about it, and we'll go from there.
I was off the floor and I would have voted for it.
If that bill ends up not passing the House and nothing on Medicaid gets passed this session, is there any sense of like what the plan is after that? If you just wait or see what happens?
Yeah, well, I guess it would be next session. Okay, there's a lot of potential options. There could be a special session, but I haven't had that conversation with either the governor or the speaker.
I think the one thing that right now is the governor can go do all of the discussion that he wants. He just has to bring the idea back to the legislature. I think that's what the law is. So you'd have to call a special session or wait until next year to do something.
Senator Davis, you said the state's losing, I guess, $4 million a month by not moving more expeditiously on this. Is that the number you were
It was
quoting?
9 million, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You
it's 9
mentioned?
million now, and it continues to grow every second. There's a little clock out there that actually shows, that I had on my desk this morning, shows how much we're losing
Is that
And it continues to grow. It's $4 million a month is what it is. So that'd be, by the end of this month, it'd be right around $12 million.
So, President Munich, does that create a sense of urgency at all for you to get this done? And not only that, I guess you have people who are now receiving any coverage who might be.
Right, and the human aspect of that is very compelling, and that's of great concern for us, and we'd like to see this, us move ahead as quickly as possible. But on the other side of that, we may be losing some of the money that we're sending to Washington, and that's going to add up, and it can be a pretty significant number. But we're making a decision right now that's going to be a long-term decision. This is something that's going to be with us for many years to come. And so if we take a few more months or even another year to make that decision, as long as we get it right in the end, I think that's the important thing. And so all those aspects are important to us, but I don't think we have to be in an absolute hurry. Let's just make the right decision for Utah, and we're excited that at least this has passed the Senate, and the governor now can go back and work his magic and come back to us, and hope we'll have a good resolve.
Mr. President,
Senator
I think
Knudsen?
it's important to point out that we don't have a deadline we have to meet. So we're not pressured by a certain date.
But I think we all have it on our mind that at the present time, we don't have that target date deadline like we do for the session. But we do have a deadline, I think, based on the idea that these are people that are not getting access to health care except the most expensive place, which is the emergency room, when they're so ill that to reverse their disease or their indications or the fact that they could die. So there is that urgency of looking at the citizens and what the citizens are losing, I believe.
Any other discussion or questions? Do we have any tweets or texts?
Not so far.
Questions? Okay.
What are your thoughts on HJR 7 by Representative Ivory that would do away with constitutional rights on legislation?
Senator Hilliard or Senator Valentine, would you address that?
I've been meeting with Representative Ivory, and I've told him that as his sponsor in the Senate that I was interested in trying to see if there's a compromise available there. I think the constitutional notes do a very good service for us. It's like asking our lawyers to give us a legal opinion as to whether or not we're going to have a major challenge. And that's what the constitutional note is intended to be. It's a high bar note, which means that there's a significant likelihood that the bill or resolution would be unconstitutional. We are fighting a battle right now on the constitutionality of our Constitution in Amendment 3. We had a constitutional note of that. We did that advisedly. We knew we had problems. But that's the kind of thing we need to be advised about. And the whole body needs to be advised about it, rather than just a single legislator who wrote the bill. So I'm meeting with Representative Ivory. I think we've got some things that we can do that will actually be a substitute bill that will actually change the intent of the way the substitute that he presently has.
I should share, I've checked with staff too, because I have some concerns about it. And the comment is it won't save them any work, because they do that same type of analysis of any bill that they prepare. The question is, do they just give it to the bill sponsor and anyone who asks about it, or do they make it public? So that's another issue. It's not money saving time.
I think there's just a misconception out there that if it has a constitutional note, that we shouldn't pass it. That's not true. We challenge the Constitution all the time. That's our right to do that as a legislature. And having a constitutional note is a good thing because it makes us aware. And the high bar policy that we've had with constitutional notes has served us well. But the legislature can choose to challenge the Constitution. We have that right, and sometimes some of those things need to be tested. But we need to be aware of that, and so I think that's an important part of our process.
That's the issue is, should we be aware of it? And I think the issue should be that we should be advised to know if we have a constitutional issue, we should know about it. And to say that it's not going to be important to hear, that's just sort of like hiding our head in the sand. Mr. President, while I've still got the floor, if I may.
Sure, yes.
Here's the report card, especially for Fox News, who seems to be most interested in this. We're still at the historic height of the number of bills that have been introduced. 772 bills as of the end of last week. This is the end of week 6. 772 bills have been introduced. However, we are no longer at a historic low. 210 bills have passed both bodies as of the end of last week. That is, however, still significantly lower than the average. The average is 235 by the end of week 6. We're at 210. The prior lowest was 201 in 2006. A breakdown between the two bodies. Several members of the media have asked this, and I'll break that down for you. Total number of House bills which have passed as of the end of week 6 is 113. The total number of Senate bills that have passed as of the end of week 6 is 97. So again, 113 in the House, 97 in the Senate, for total bills that have passed of 210. Thank you.
That's that, I guess, referred to as the Golden Rule report, right?
Yeah, we call it the Golden Report. We're treating each other fairly.
Is that 16 bills? Is that close enough for you guys right now that it's not going to be a hang-up as the down stretch?
It's close enough for government work.
Typically, the House is going to pass more. They have more bills, they have more members of their body, and historically, there's been more House bills passed than Senate bills, and so we don't see anything.
I can't help to add, the way the House bill gets passed is by the Senate. And the Senate bills get passed finally by the House. So if more pass, that means the Senate took care of it.
Okay, any other?
Jones, can I ask you a question? I have to get in your proximity with my microphone, but.
What's your punishment?
Better be a good question.
Oh, it is.
Mr. President, Jen asked me.
You are hanging up your legislative boots, so to speak. There are, by my count, 3 other women in the Utah legislature who are also quitting after this session, say for a special session. Is that something that concerns you, that there will be less women representing in Utah, or there will be maybe less women after the election?
It would be a sad day if we have fewer women in the next legislative session. I'm hoping and have encouraged women to run. I mean, obviously we have some wonderful males up here too. Maybe I'm sitting around right now. But I think that women do bring a broader view or a different view to the legislature because of our life's experiences. And so I would strongly encourage women to not wait to be nudged to run, but to grow up wanting to run for office. Yeah, I think it's just a coincidence that so many women are retiring. But I'm sure we'll still be busy. Maybe we'll run for other offices and so forth.
If there's a male you could replace with a female in Utah legislature.
There are none in this room.
Thank you.
Just FYI, on that issue, we have Ann Milner running for Senator Reed's seat. Senator Reed's not coming back next year, and so that could possibly be a replacement. Ann Milner's the former president of Weber State. Would have probably a good chance of winning that seat. We won't know until the end of next week who might be running against her, but we'd be excited to welcome her to the Senate. And there obviously is a difference there, and so we also, the males in the room, encourage more women to run because we would like to see more women in the Senate and the legislature. Any more discussion or any other questions? Okay, well, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Copies of those.